Okay. What I've been doing is replacing the little nubs. They're on the kit. You can see a couple of them there. There's 3 of them on that little triangular piece right there. With those. With the ones I was cutting with Mr. Chopper. Okay. This thing's getting very near primer. I don't think I'm going to do anything to the body. I've got all the seams filled that I care to fill. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with something because I have some plans for my little Maschinen kit. But we're getting very near primer. I still haven't figured out what to do with these yet because they look rough and I need to unrough them. And one thing I'm thinking about doing to unrough them is to sand every last bit of it. Because it's really only the shoulders up here. No, that's not the shoulders. Those are the legs. It's only the shoulders right there that are visible. All the rest of them are rarely visible. You rarely see them. So I'm not worried about them. I'm just worried about that one and its compatriot, which is in the storage bin over here. This stuff. Okay? It's in the project box. So I'm only worried about those 2. The rest of them you don't really see because they're skirts like these. They go over them, or you can't see that because of the kneecap. You can barely see it back there. So I'm not worried about them. I'm just worried about that one thing. These have skirts all around them. You don't see them. So I got to figure that out. And I got to figure something else out with this. I think I might just put more dots on there than that. They give it some texture too, if you notice. That looks a little bit better than that does. Well, anyhow, let me get going. I'm going to get back to it. I'll be back in a little bit. Well, here's today's work. Gotta be careful when I pick this up. Putting all these little knobbies on here. It looks like I lost one. Yeah, I see where it is too. It fell off. I'm going to have to redo that one before I go downstairs. One fun thing. I'd spent an hour literally cutting off these knobbies and putting them on tape. There's the big ones. The small ones are missing. Apparently, that one right there, who's so comfortably sleeping, or this one right here, got up here, stuck their nose on it, it stuck to their nose, and they went running, and I have no idea where it went. So one of these 2 helped me build models. So now I have to recut them all. And see, I got a few spare ones there. Not a big deal. It's just I spent an hour cutting them and lost that hour's worth of time. Like I said, it's not a big deal. For those that are curious, the dinosaur is just sitting. I'm going to come back to him as soon as I'm done with the Maschinen kit. The contest was supposed to be done by now. It's done tomorrow. There's no way I'm finishing anything. Life has gotten in the way, but at least I'm back to this stuff and working on them. I'm not working fast because life is still a bit in the way. I'm unpacking the garage right now. I'm trying to get all the unpacking and everything done while my mother-in-law is here, because she can help take care of the baby while I do some work. Anyhow, just letting you guys know where I'm at. That's an hour's worth of work, putting those little knobbies on there and cutting them. I'll talk to you later.
Nothing like a nice, lazy day. It's like, get that out of my face. I'm asleep in here. All right, everyone. That's not the star of the show. The star of the show is Mr. Maschinen kit, the G-prawn. Not Mr. Dinosaur, he's next. I'm going to finish the G-prawn first. I got it ready for paint. You can see my little add-ons in there. Okay. I don't know if this thing's focusing or not. Let's hit the focus button and see what that does. There we go. You can see my little add-ons on there. The body is assembled, ready for paint. I added some hex bolts here for some detail. I did it on the arms too. This arm didn't get any because, well, it didn't really need any. That didn't either, but that one did. That's weird. One did and one didn't. Well, one has plates and one doesn't, so that's why. Okay. Yeah, you can see some parts there because I'm contemplating steampunking this thing. Well, not contemplating. I did the laser cannon that way. So, I'm trying to figure out if I should give it some rocket nozzles or not. That's the only thing that's lacking at the moment. Steampunking can be paint. I'm using this stuff to replace the plastic hoses with. I'm not replacing these parts because they're going to be hidden fairly well by these. You won't really see them much, so I'm not going to worry about replacing them. So there you go, a brief update. It is ready for paint once that cures, so I'm going to get a coat of primer on most of this today. And once the primer's done, you know, I'm going to paint and hose, put the hoses on, paint it. This is going to be the fun part, painting that face. I got 2 of them in case I screw one up. But anyhow, that's where I stand with the G-prawn. Got some work done today, got the skirting done on this, and all the fine detail is done on this. I'm thinking about putting some rocket nozzles on the bottom of that, just because I think these would look nice as rocket nozzles in a steampunk sort of way. Even with the color they are, so I can actually paint it first and then decide to put them on. Because the color is good for a steampunk thing. Alright, I will be back in a bit. Hope you guys enjoyed the slide update there. Well, there they are, all ready for primer. You can see some of the details I've added on some of the arm pieces. I've added that and that. Those are hose couplings. I really changed the front of this laser cannon. And where's the other arm piece? It's here. You can see I added a metal piece to it too. These are all watch parts for the most part, except for the gold bead right here. That's an actual gold bead for jewelry making. I'm going to give them some primer. This needs a little bit of work before it's ready for primer. I'm going to primer it tomorrow. I want to let that putty cure. The 2 pieces didn't go on the side very well. You can't see them from behind, just from the front. So I'm not worried about fixing the backs or the tops. The tops are okay. I just have to fix the front a little bit. Still undecided about adding the rocket engines, but we will find out in a little bit. I got my primer. This is the primer of choice today. It's a lacquer primer, which means within 20 minutes of spraying it, I can paint if I really wanted to. I'm not sure what color I'm going to paint. I'm going to primer this and then let it sit for a bit. That's going to be the hardest part to paint, so it's probably going to be done last, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with a brass color on this. Again, this is not your typical Maschinen kit. I am steampunking it, if you haven't figured that out yet. So steampunk kits are not camouflage. They're not your typical military colors. They're something else. So I'm going to go with dirty brass or dirty copper, silver, that kind of color scheme. The hoses are definitely going to be silver. There's 2 of the hoses. They need to be cut a little bit shorter. Haven't cut the hoses for the legs yet, but they're this heavier gauge for the legs. And we got throwaway parts. These will be fun. Maybe I can make them as teeth or something for Halloween. Who knows? Anyhow, you can see I've been raiding the jewelry supply. That's where you get stuff for steampunking and watch parts. This is a box full of watch parts. They're sorted by usefulness. Alright, I will be back. Let you guys see what it looks like after the primer's on there. I get to do the rattle shake for this because there's little BBs in there to mix it up. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, there you go. Everything's on the paint tree ready for paint. I just took that. That's a piece of wood. Took it to my drill press, set some angles, drilled some angles in a piece of wood for the bamboo skewers. These are alligator clips, which you can buy almost anywhere. You know, I got them at Harbor Freight Tools, and I just crimped them down. You can see the metal one right there, and you can see it there. I just crimped them down on the bamboo skewers, and now I got things to hold things. That is held on with yellow tack, poster tack. So you can make one of these. You don't need to buy one. Pretty cheaply too, because the bamboo skewers, everything, all the total cost there is probably about $4, maybe $5. Some time too. You got to drill holes. You don't need a drill press to drill those. You can do it with a hand drill because you don't have to have the angles consistent. I just went with consistent angles. All right, I'm going to get the primer. I'll be back after primer. Okay, everyone, we've got primer on most of the parts. I'm going to have to touch that one up a little bit. But the seams are good. Yeah, there's one bad spot on this one. I'm going to go through and look through all the parts and see what needs to be touched up and what doesn't. But I wanted to let you see it with primer. I still haven't finished the body. One thing, my airbrush started sputtering, and yeah, one side of this got it pretty bad. The other side didn't, so I'm going to have to clean that up. This is lacquer paint, so that makes it even more fun. But anyhow, I'll be back at this in a little bit.